So that's your experience. Craig Lee, tell us about yours.
Yes, so a case opened up against me in 2008, and I was sending me all pension that they asked if I was receiving any benefits. They totally disregarded it, and where I should have been on the flat rate assessment. In 2012, 13, I started complaining about that and taking that into account. And in 2014, they admitted they made an official error.
So they actually admitted they'd made an error.
An official error, yes.
But that wasn't the end of the story.
No, they administrated my case and said I had overpaid by £6,000 odd. I thought that was going to be it.
Yeah.
They actually, I returned that decision, obviously with variations put in by my ex-partner, and went back to the start of the case with the arrears of over £18,000, which was totally made up. I then had to go down the route of a mandatory reconsideration and ended up at a tribunal in which the judge said it was out of his jurisdiction and he couldn't make a decision.
So you go to a tribunal and the judge can't make a decision?
He couldn't make a decision. He told me to had to re-complain to the child maintenance service.
The same happened to me as well.
So
when you complain?
Again, I went down the complaint route, and their answer was, look, this is it. We're correct. I went to ICE, like Craig, and to the PHSO, and they've all sided with the CMS. And then they started now going for liability orders, in which I went to court, and the Portsmouth magistrates granted the liability orders. And again, I wasn't allowed to show any evidence because of this Support Act 1991, Section 33, and liability orders were granted. So I've tried to appeal against them, in which I went to the FRC, Financial Remedies Court.
Yes.
As told by Judge Hess. Is it Judge Hess?
Yeah.
And that was a way to appeal the decisions with an N161 form. And they've basically replied to me, no, this is not how you do it. Return to the CMS. So there's no clear path of appealing these liability orders, and I just cannot get rid of them.
So in summary, you can have an order made. Mm-hmm. They can then admit, as in both your cases, that there was an error.
Yes.
But instead of that being the end of the story and then them putting everything right because of the error, they persist with the original demand. Mm-hmm. And in summary, there is no clear court route for you to be able to challenge that demand. No. That is what it comes down to. Yes. So what they say is law. Mm. What the CMS says is law. And that is, of course, completely contrary to natural justice. It is actually contrary to Magna Carta. And it is contrary to the British Convention that government can always be challenged in a court of law. And so it would seem that the CMS enjoys a uniquely privileged position in government in this country. Now, I'd like to bring into this conversation Kevin, who's currently serving with the RAF. And Kevin has a slightly different slant on this one, but with the same result. Kevin, hello.
Hello there.
Thank you for joining us. Can you just give us a run-through of your story?
My ex-partner withheld my children whilst I had a 50-50 equal shared care order given out by the family courts. The child maintenance service contacted myself and on their initial gambit said that, and I quote, "You will have nothing to pay through the child maintenance service if you are sharing equal shared care." I provided my court documents and put my faith in them, but told them that she was withholding the children, at which point they completely drew a line under the court order and said no, so therefore there is a case to answer, which ultimately resulted in me being deducted from my earnings.
So a court decides that it's 50-50. Your ex-partner decides that it's not 50-50 after all. And the CMS then, without any amendment to that original court order, decides to levy from you child maintenance. Is that right?
That's correct, yes.
So once again, the CMS is acting as a law unto itself.
Very much so.
Yeah.
And then you are hit financially by going back to the courts to enforce the order. So you're essentially paying twice each month, one to the receiving parent and one to your legal team to enforce the court order that you already have.
And of course, it is very common, as well I know, for women to use the children at the bargaining point with an ex-partner.
I'd say it extends all over the spectrum, so males and females. It's just the service affording everybody to complete, to turn a blind eye to any court order, break it, and there is no financial results. And for them, there's just a benefit, as the CMS will turn around and state they do have a case for receiving funds.
Kevin, thank you very much for sharing your story with us. So, what have we got? We've got a government department that apparently just can act out with the law, independently of the law. The law is obliged by law to rubber stamp what they decide. How can that be just?
Richard Tice speaks with other veterans about Thea. Harrowing experiences with the child maintenance system in the next episode.